Have you ever felt overlooked, like you're just a background character in someone else's story? Imagine being the youngest of 8 brothers, always handed the leftover jobs, the ones no one else wanted. That's where our story begins today, with a young shepherd boy named David. To his family, and to the world, he was just another face in the crowd, spending his days in the fields with the sheep. But in the eyes of God, he was destined for greatness. This isn't just a tale of a boy who became a king. It's a story about how the greatest strength can be found in the most unexpected places, and how faith can empower us to face the giants in our own lives. Let's travel back in time to ancient Israel. The nation needed a new king. The prophet Samuel was sent by God on a secret mission to the town of Bethlehem, to the house of a man named Jesse. God had told him, "I have chosen one of his sons to be king." When Samuel arrived, he was impressed. Jesse's sons were tall, strong, and looked like warriors. The first son, Eliab, stepped forward. Samuel thought, "Surely this is the one." He looked every bit the part of a king, but God's voice came to Samuel, and it was a lesson for all time. "Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him." The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. One by one, 7 of Jesse's sons passed before Samuel, and one by one, God said no. Samuel was confused. He turned to Jesse and asked, "Are these all the sons you have?" Jesse paused, almost as an afterthought, and said, "Well, there is still the youngest, but he's out tending the sheep." He was so insignificant that his own father almost forgot to mention him. "Send for him," Samuel insisted. And so, they brought in David. The Bible describes him as glowing with health, with a fine appearance and handsome features. And the Lord said, "Rise and anoint him. This is the one." In that moment, a simple shepherd boy, smelling of the fields and sheep, was secretly anointed as the future king of Israel. It's a powerful reminder that our value isn't determined by our job title, our social status, or what others think of us. God sees the potential within our hearts. Now you might think that after this grand anointing, David was immediately whisked away to the palace. But that's not what happened. Life went back to normal. He returned to his sheep, to the quiet solitude of the hills. It was in this lonely place that David's character was forged. He wasn't just watching sheep, he was protecting them. He faced down lions and bears, not with a royal army, but with his own 2 hands, a sling, and a deep reliance on God. He later said, "The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me." These weren't just random acts of bravery, they were training grounds. God was preparing him in private for the public battles he would one day face. It was in the mundane, everyday tasks that his faith grew strong and his courage was tested. This is where the story takes a dramatic turn. The Israelites were at war with their fierce enemies, the Philistines. The 2 armies were camped on opposite hills, with a valley between them. And every day, for 40 days, a champion emerged from the Philistine camp. His name was Goliath. He wasn't just a soldier, he was a giant, over 9 feet tall, decked out in heavy bronze armor and carrying a spear the size of a weaver's rod. His voice boomed across the valley, taunting the armies of Israel. "Choose a man and have him come down to me," he roared. "If he is able to fight and kill me, we will become your subjects. But if I overcome him and kill him, you will become our subjects and serve us." The Israelite army, including King Saul and David's older brothers, was terrified. No one dared to face this giant. The entire nation was paralyzed by fear. It just so happened that Jesse sent young David to the battle lines to bring food to his brothers and check on them. When David arrived, he heard Goliath's defiant shouts. But David heard something different. He didn't just hear a threat against Israel. He heard a challenge against the God of Israel. He was shocked. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? He asked. His own brothers were annoyed. "Why have you come down here?" They sneered. "Who did you leave those few sheep with?" They still saw him as the irresponsible little brother, out of his depth. But David wasn't deterred. His words of faith reached King Saul, who summoned him. Saul looked at this young boy and said, "You are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." It was the logical human response. But David's perspective was different. He didn't talk about his own strength. Instead, he shared his resume of faith. He told Saul about the lion and the bear. He concluded with unshakable confidence, "This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands." Saul, perhaps out of desperation, agreed. He tried to dress David in his own royal armor, a bronze helmet and a coat of mail. It was the best protection the kingdom had to offer, but David couldn't even walk in it. It was too heavy, too unfamiliar. He took it off. He rejected the conventional weapons of the world. Instead, he walked to a nearby stream and chose 5 smooth stones. He took what he had, his shepherd's staff, his sling, and his pouch of stones. And with these simple tools, he walked out into the valley to face the giant. When Goliath saw David, he laughed with contempt. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" he bellowed. He cursed David by his gods. David's reply is one of the most powerful declarations of faith ever spoken. He shouted back, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel, for the battle is the Lord's." David ran towards the Philistine. He reached into his bag, took out a stone, placed it in his sling, and let it fly. The stone, guided by God and propelled by a shepherd's practiced hand, struck Goliath square on the forehead. The giant stumbled and fell face down on the ground. The shepherd boy had defeated the warrior. The Israelite army, seeing their enemy fall, let out a mighty roar and charged, routing the Philistine army. David's victory wasn't about the size of the stone, but the size of his faith in God. He showed that when we face our giants, we don't have to rely on our own strength or the world's solutions. We can trust in a God who is bigger than any problem we face. From that day on, David's life changed forever. He became a national hero, a celebrated warrior, and a close friend to the king's son, Jonathan. But his popularity came at a price. King Saul, who once favored him, grew consumed by jealousy. He heard the people singing, "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands." This praise for David ignited a rage in Saul that would hunt David for years. David was forced to flee for his life, living as a fugitive in the wilderness, the very same wilderness where he had once tended sheep. For years he was hunted, betrayed, and lived on the run. Yet even in these dark and desperate times, David's faith did not waver. Many of the Psalms, the beautiful poems and songs in the Bible, were written during this period. They are filled with raw emotion, fear, loneliness, and sorrow. But they always circle back to a deep and abiding trust in God's protection and faithfulness. Eventually, the prophecy came to pass. After Saul's death, David was finally crowned king of Israel. He was a king like no other. He was a brilliant military strategist, a unifier of the nation, and he established Jerusalem as its capital. He was known as a man after God's own heart. This doesn't mean he was perfect. Far from it. David's story is also a story of profound human failure. He made terrible mistakes, sins that had devastating consequences for himself, his family, and the nation. Yet, what set David apart was his response to his failures. When confronted with his sin, he didn't make excuses or shift blame. He humbled himself, confessed, and pleaded with God for mercy and forgiveness. His heart remained tender and responsive to God. The life of David teaches us so many things. It shows us that God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. He doesn't look at our resume or our social standing. He looks at our heart. It teaches us that the lonely, hidden places of preparation are just as important as the public moments of victory. It shows us that we can face the giants in our lives, not with fear, but with faith, knowing that the battle belongs to the Lord. And perhaps most importantly, it shows us that even when we fail, and we will, God's grace is always available to us when we turn back to Him with a humble and repentant heart. David's story is not just history. It's an invitation to trust God with our lives, to face our fears with courage, and to cultivate a heart that is fully devoted to Him. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through David's incredible life. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that explores these timeless truths. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What part of David's story inspires you the most? Until next time, stay courageous and keep your faith.